Hi, everyone, and welcome back to another episode on My Line Purpose, the podcast. I'm your host, Nicole McClellan, and today we have Kayla on the show, which is super fun. Hi, Kayla.
Hi, I'm so excited to be here.
I'm so excited to have you. Every once in a while, we come on together when we really feel there's an important message that the masses need to hear from both of us. And typically, it's always around
My favorite topic, money.
money. You are the money expert, money queen.
I love it. Yeah, so we are going to talk today about the limiting beliefs that we hear, the blocks that people are walking around with, some different perspectives on those, how they've affected us. Some of them have, some of them haven't. Some of them are from coaching conversations. And then what is available to you on the other side of money fear?
Yeah, and this is really important to be talking about right now because what we see, especially this time of year, and with a lot of people starting to file their taxes and look at their numbers and look at their money, the instinctual path that we see a lot of clients that we work with go down is the path of fear. And we know that there's another path. We know that there's multiple paths, multiple realities available. And we're here to talk today about what happens when you choose the path of freedom. And how do you get on that path? How do I even get there if I cannot believe that freedom and money can coexist in the same reality?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, when I think about fear, I think the opposite also being love. So if you're not feeling like you love your money and you love where it's going and you love where it's taking you as a tool, is there any piece there that is bringing up fear? If you're thinking like, I'm not scared, really, if it's not love, is there anything else? Just think about as we go through these limiting beliefs.
Yeah. Okay. So let's start to talk about the first one. And this one is an interesting fear in regards to money because it's a fear that, or a limitation, I suppose, that can show up in so many areas, not just money. Today, we want to start off talking about judgment.
Oh, yes. The old judgment.
So, what are some of the things that you can recall that we've heard around judgment with money?
Oh, there's so many. It's, often we hear, or often, and I don't want to say we're just talking about who we're coaching, but it's in society as well.
Yeah.
Judgment around if you have money, then you're not a good person. Money equals evil. Money doesn't grow on trees. Why does that person deserve it? Anything that kind of flares in you when you see someone that has more money than you do or treats money differently. What is that instant reaction? If it's not positive, it's a judgment. I mean, I guess being positive is a judgment as well, but is a more freeing judgment than the negative.
Yeah. And you know what? I was just thinking about as you were saying that we didn't discuss prior to this is the people that don't judge people in a negative way for having more money, if societally, tend to be the rich old white men. So it could, in a societal lens, you don't often hear the patriarchy being afraid to make more money. And so is it a patriarchal system that wants to keep people small and instills the fear of you would be a bad person if you made more money? These had to have come from somewhere. And since we see that the percent of billionaires in the world, or those that hold the most money and aren't necessarily doing the most good with it, are like the old boys club. And so if they can be okay with making money, us women, the next generation, and men too, we can all be okay with making money. Somewhere somebody created the belief that let's get everybody thinking that if you make money you're bad, so that they don't want to make money. It had to have come from somewhere.
Yeah, well, we could really get into the the background of history, but obviously in the Industrial Revolution we needed people who were workers. And if the workers are empowered and want to make their own money, then they start their own factories, then who's going to do the work? And that was the scarcity mentality that was, driven into everybody at the time. And that's prevailed through how do we keep society running if we don't have people who are the workers? And that's just a completely patriarchal line. It doesn't have to be that way. It's not the only way of operating, of thinking, of supporting each other. So what can we do differently? That's not the factory worker mentality.
Yeah, absolutely. So what can we do differently? Well, the first step is we can become empowered with our money. We can become empowered with our belief of what we can do with money. So this lends really well into sort of the next concept that we want to talk about, is that money doesn't change people. It really amplifies who you already are. So what we see is that everybody that we get to work with, they're great human beings. They've got some money stories, just like you and I have had, and lots of people do. You've got a money story or a money belief. They're a good person. So if we give them the tool, we teach them how to be resourceful with the tool of money. Well, now they're a good person that's amplified and can use the tool of money to do good. You're a shitty person. You give somebody that's already has bad behaviors and habits and mentality, you give them money. Well, the same is also true. It might just amplify that they already make bad choices.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think that we can say money as a tool has an influence on how people react positively or negatively in society. I think that is how they behave in society. Like you said, it's just amplified. If we look at money as a tool, instead of giving it the judgment of good or evil, if we just say it's a tool, the same as a hammer is a tool, for example, you could use a hammer to put a nail in the wall and hang a beautiful picture. So it's a tool so that you can see your art all the time. Okay, that's one way to use a hammer. You can build a house. You can, there are many good uses for that. You could also use a hammer to smash windows and do a lot of damage and hurt people, I guess. And so it's just a tool on its own. It's just a hammer. We're not walking around all the time, every day in the world being like, oh, hammer. Hammers are evil. And everybody who has a hammer, also evil. Can't believe those people with hammers. They're so greedy. And they're always, spending their hammers all the time and getting more hammers. Who do they think they are? Okay. Yeah, that's a judgment. And let's just look at money as a tool.
Yeah. And when you have the judgment of, say, somebody with money, I remember having a conversation once with somebody, and we were talking about her judgments around money. And she was saying that she was really jealous and annoyed and pissed off at trust fund kids, was her word. She's like, everything's just handed to them. And I was like, oh, that's an interesting lens. So if your family had the means to give you a car or help you with the down payment on your home, or not, so you wouldn't have student loan debt, you wouldn't want that? And she was like, well, yeah, I would. And I'm like, okay, so can you see this disconnect? The energy that backs up your judgment, your jealousy, cannot be the same energy that invites money in. It just can't. Your judgment is preventing you from receiving the abundance that you actually want.
Yes. And can we talk about, on this same thread, timelines?
Yeah.
That is something that we hear quite a lot, actually, from people that we work with, that we coach, that they'll say, I want to make $10,000 in a month in the next 5 years. And you're like, okay, why 5 years? Oh, because I think it's gonna, this is the age of my kids and this is what's going on with my family. So this whole future that they're creating in the narrative that hasn't happened yet is all the idea of what has happened so far to date. And they're projecting that into the future. And then they're consciously placing their own timeline based on not actual reality, what their belief reality is, onto that, their goal. When I say it like that, does it make sense? It's like, you can make $10,000 a month now, today. You can start working on that for this month and make $10,000 this month. So why would you wait for 5 years?
Yeah. And if somebody is listening, they're like, how could I make $10,000 this month? I guarantee you, if there was no plan B and come hell or high water, like life was on the line, you needed to make $10,000 this month, you would find a way. And then you'd find a way to do it again and make it easier. And then you'd find a way to do it again and make it even easier. So it's like, we keep, and I say we, because I mean societally, again, we keep making these timelines to secure safety because we don't want to take too big of a risk. Because risk would mean dipping into fear, and fear is the unknown. But it's like the whole future is unknown. So when you can open up to that, you do not know what's going to come next. And so rather than waiting for your past decisions to keep recreating to make your future, why don't you create your future right now with a new lens, with a little bit of fear and a little bit of risk and a whole lot of fun, and see what happens?
Yeah. And I can hear already the judgmental thing around create your future coming up. We're not asking you to, let's say, use sailing as an analogy. We're not asking you to create the wind. Like the wind is blowing away. It's doing its thing. It's shifting directions. You are the sailboat, the sailor in the sailboat, and you're controlling the sails. You're creating your future based on the things that are happening externally, based on what you want internally. You are creating that.
Yeah, because all those outside things are going to happen regardless. That, you know, there's always going to be something big happening on a global scale, and we're always going to have suffering, and we're always going to have choices to make, and
we're going to be coming from different perspectives and different privileges and different backgrounds and different, all of that kind of thing. And
if it's a choice between, do I want to try and make $100 today or 1,000 or 10,000, that's your choice.
Yeah.
And when you consider yourself resourceful, which I know anybody listening to this podcast would, you will find a way. If it's what you really want, you will find a way.
If it's what you really want. And if you want to learn to get aligned with the energy of money and be surrounded by other people who also believe the same things are possible and support you, then come and join us. If we're speaking a foreign language right now and you're like, what is going on with these two? No problem. I just have to do a plug. We have a course called Manifesting Money Masterclass. We're starting our study group for it next week. March 3rd. So if you're listening before March 3rd, 2022, come and join us next week in Manifesting Money Masterclass and have your mind blown around what's possible. 1, for your money mindset, and 2, we're actually going to talk about the numbers.
Yeah. And 3, for your circle of influence.
Yeah.
Because all of you who register, and a lot of our alumni are coming back, and Kayla and I are going to be there. It's all going to be, your circle of influence is going to be all women who are eager and excited to learn how to do better and be better with their money. So we're coming from all different spectrums. If we're talking about like swimming in debt over here to so much money, I don't even know where to invest it next. We're on so many different levels with no judgment.
Yeah.
And it's all welcome and it's all invited. But what is true is you are entering a room, a Zoom room, you are entering a room where your circle of influence is going to be women who want to talk about money, who want to talk about earning wealth, who want to say, I'm so tired of my limiting beliefs holding me back. I'm so sick of the judgment I carry around money, and I'm ready to do something different about it. How different is that than other circles of influence that we may have been surrounded by in our lives?
Yeah, completely different. Come and experience it. Okay, speaking of circle of influence, that was a side note. Now we're back on our limiting beliefs. Speaking of circle of influence, which is who you surround yourself by. We often see that people, whether they're aware of it, because lots of people are aware of it or not, are hung up on their parents' idea of what's acceptable with money.
Yeah, or whoever raised you, like whatever your upbringing was.
Your family, your family's idea, or whatever that looks like for you. Or maybe it was a really influential partner that you had in your life, like I don't know, someone that you dated who really rocked your mind with money.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you're hung up on what other people think and that's holding you back from what you truly want for your life, then you need to come and join our circle of influence, first of all. And second of all, we have to do some work around that. There are things like, even though I've been working on it for 8 years now and building my multi 6-figure net worth, going for 7 figures, really focused on the positive energy around money and matching my vibration of what I want to the vibration of money. Even though I'm doing the work every day, I still get sometimes these little triggers that pull me back into feeling judged or feeling not accepted or feeling not good enough. And I have to notice that and come back to, actually, what do I want? No one is going to save me. I need to sort this out on my own. What do I want?
Yeah, and not even like save you. They're not paying your mortgage. They're not, they don't have the plans to put Evie and like whomever else we have coming up in our lives over the course of the next few years. Whatever our children and their children want to do, like somebody else isn't paying for ourselves and our family and our decisions. So, and to anybody listening to this, like that's most likely your experience as well. You're here to do it for yourself. So you deserve it. Step up and invest and decide that today is the day that you make a decision that's like, I'm going to be the one to change the story about how people in my family work with or view or experience money differently.
I love that. We're here for it. And in the course, you'll hear so many people talking about that and how that's changed their lives. And be really honest, like I just was, about how some things kind of like move you off track sometimes, and you have to just come back to center where it feels good for you. I love when Glennon Doyle says, her family is like an island, and to be invited to the island, you have to be in line with their values and nice and supportive and all the things you need to be on the island. And if you're not, then it's her responsibility as the parent to not invite this person to the island, not allow the person to penetrate the energy of their family. And I always go back to that when I think of how I want my daughter to think about money and how I want my experience to be, my own personal experience with money, and how I want like people in my sphere of influence, your experience, Nick, to be with money. I need to be in line with what I believe.
Yeah. And you know, what's really interesting, since meeting you and being like so intimately tied to you, like we talk every day, and then the community that we've built, it's like, it goes back to that saying of like, sometimes you don't know what you don't know. I didn't know that my past circles of influence didn't even have this understanding of money and wealth until I jumped into a new pond and I was like, oh, people view money this way. Women are talking about money this way. I could get out of debt faster this way. I could make more savings this way. I didn't know that because I didn't know that this circle of influence didn't know that. So it's like when we created Manifesting Money Masterclass, we created it through the lens of, I want to show people anything's possible with their mindset. And in fact, everything begins with your mindset. And then you come in with all of this knowledge about how to build wealth and, you know, feel okay with if you do have debt and how to view that and so on and so forth. And then marrying those two ideologies together and saying like, wow, we've got a whole community who are doing things differently.
It's so inspiring.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, you don't have to do things the way they've always been done. You can do it your way.
In fact, it's probably time to start doing things differently because we are evolving, the world is evolving, society is evolving, like things have to be done differently.
And we're here for it.
Yeah.
Okay, so we hear sometimes that people have a fear of managing their money. What if I get too much? What will I do? How will I do my taxes? How will I ever manage all the money that I have? And that goes along with, we don't know what we don't know. And then, so we talk about that a lot in Manifesting Money Masterclass and in the collective, in our community. And anytime I'm coaching someone who wants to talk about money, we talk about that there are professionals out there to help you with your money. So there are professional accountants, there's professional financial advisors. You, my friend, we can give you some great resources to learn more about different areas that you want to learn about. And once you start to know, you have to stop yourself from saying you don't know. Because understanding money is like opening a door to another land. It's a portal to the next level. And if you are stepping through that portal, but you keep pulling yourself back by saying, oh, actually, I wish I did this, but I don't know. I don't know anything about money. I'm bad with money. And you're telling yourself those stories, even when you're trying to move forward, it's counterproductive. So we're not trying learned helplessness.
Yeah, and it goes back to ask and it is given, which we read in February this month in the collective. And Abraham Hicks, spiritual teacher, would say, you cannot want or ask for something and then have a limiting belief or worry or limitation that pulls you back, doubt it, resist it, and then move towards it. So you can't say like, I want more money, but I'm going to keep saying I don't know how, and then expect that all of a sudden one day you wake up and know how. It's a choice. You decide today. I actually do know. I know that I can ask for help. I know where there's a group of women talking about this. I know there's some books written about it. So you do know more than you probably think you know.
Yeah. Okay. We can't wait to show you all of the ways that all of the different techniques that I've used to build my wealth over the last 8 years and things that I've tried. We are open to people in the group sharing things that they've tried. We don't give advice.
No.
We don't place judgment. You can come as you are. You're only welcome as you are, exactly as you are, with debt or with lots of money or whatever you are, how you use those tools in the moment. Everything can be different or similar or whatever you want from this moment forward. You get to decide.
Yeah. And if we circle that back to the fear of not being able to manage your money is a limiting belief or what holds you back from making money. And if you're listening to this and thinking, no, I think I could handle $1 million. Like outwardly, you may say that, but subconsciously, your body and your programming knows more than what your conscious thinking mind does. And until we can get the reprogramming done and complete, that you do believe you are a woman who knows how to invest X amount and save X amount, and this is how much you would put aside for your taxes. Like if working those numbers feels challenging at the current amount of money that you have, but you're saying, I want to make more money. Well, we really want to support you to believe that you know how to handle and manage the money you have now so that you can be open and available for larger quantities to come your way.
Yeah, to trust yourself and to be worthy and to energetically step into the next level.
Yeah. It's like where actions speak louder than words. Like everybody wants to be a millionaire. Everybody wants to make 6 figures, 7 figures. Like we hear that all the time. Like, yeah, of course it's easy to say those things. And then what are the actions that you, 6 figure a year, 7 figure a year woman have to make? What's different about you? What circle of friends do you have to say, you know what, you're not actually supporting me and lifting me up. You're holding me down and pulling me back. There's going to be different aspects about who you are and what you do as you evolve and open up to the quantities of money. And if hearing that makes you think like, oh, like I know who I'm going to disappoint or this feels challenging. Yes, absolutely. And that is your opportunity for growth.
Oh, yes. You can do hard things. That's what Glennon says.
Yeah, we love Glennon. Maybe she should be in our course and just talk to everybody because she's so inspiring.
Yes, please. We'd love to have you on the podcast. Okay. A couple more. If you're saying, I really want to join Manifesting Money Masterclass, or I want to be in this community of women who are building their wealth, who are talking about it, who are supportive, who, if you say you want to be a trillionaire, we're like, okay, well, let's go. That's what you want. Okay. If you want to be in the energy of that, but you keep saying, oh, I can't afford to take this course, so I can't commit to it right now, but I do really want that, but I'm not going to actually take the jump. What do you have to say about that, Nick?
I would say that is proof right there of you saying you want something. Like you actually want it. If money wasn't an issue, would you be joining us? And if your answer is like, hell yeah, I would love to be a part of this community. But then what you are making the resistance, or what you are saying is the reality is that I'm not going to prioritize some things in my life right now to make this happen, or I can't come up with that money right now. If not now, when? I know that there's always ways to pivot. I've lived this so much in my own life. When you really want something, so if you really want to join us, you will find a way to make it happen. And it will just be a matter for some people of like looking at what would be something that you would do differently for the month of March. And the biggest thing that I want to offer to anybody who's like, yeah, hell yeah, I'm an all in if I had the money, is that when you trust yourself, we know the women who sign up to this have leveled up to a place in their life where they trust themselves, because they trust that finding a way to invest in themselves, it's truly an investment in yourself, to come be in this program. You trust that you will never be in a position again to say, can I afford to take a course like this? You're learning how to make money and manage money so that you don't ever have to say, I want to do that thing for, $300, but I can't afford it. You don't want to be in that position. And we want to show you how not to be in that position.
Okay. So let's say we're beyond your initial money block, and then you think to yourself, oh, I've bought so many courses before and I never take them. So this is going to be like that, but I would like to take it, but I just don't know. I don't know if I can do another course because I just keep doing them and not doing them. Okay. This is our challenge to you. Can you prove to yourself that you want something and you're willing to commit to it? Put it in your calendar. Tell us you're showing up. Bring in a friend who's your accountability buddy, not someone who has any doubt that they're going to show up, but someone who is an accountability buddy. And if you don't have one now, come and join us. We'll hook you up with someone. Okay. So then we're going to help you have accountability externally, but you need to have the accountability in yourself to show up for yourself. So if you do want this, if you want to grow your wealth, like Nick was saying, if you want to understand how to make more money and what to do with it when you have it, if you want to get in the energy of what's possible, come with us and commit to it.
And what I want to say to the accountability piece is our group, I mean, as we mentioned at the beginning, we've got lots of alumni coming back. Our group loves this. You've got lifetime access to it once you come over and you're inside of the collective. And that's our community. And that's like when you join Manifesting Money Masterclass, we give you access to our community. They are accountable human beings. They will say, are you coming to the call on Thursday? Do you have your coffee? Do you have your snacks? Are you in your comfy clothes? Let's get out our course, our pens, our highlighters, our smelly markers, and let's do the thing. You're going to make new friends that want you to be there. They're going to message you and say, okay, you ready for Thursday's call? So the accountability is there. It's inevitable.
Yeah. All you have to do is show up. Yeah. Okay, so whatever you want is available for you on the other side of your fear. I'll just say that one more time. Whatever you want is available for you on the other side of your fear. Are you willing to say, I want this so badly, it scares the shit out of me, I'm going to do it anyway?
Yeah. Are you willing to say, you know what? I actually think I have some fear around money and I'm ready to change that story.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Okay. So the way that you can check it out and come join us is by heading to www.mylinepurpose.com/manifesting money masterclass. You could head to our Instagram, MyLine Purpose, and then check out the link in our bio. Easy peasy. We've got lots of great testimonials. We've ran this so many times over the past few years when we've had incredible success stories of people who wanted a $5,000 balance in their checking, became a millionaire, big inheritances, people paying off like almost $100,000 of debt in less than 2 years since taking this with us the first time. There is so
really amazing.
Yeah.
People moving. Like this actually whole situation doesn't work for me. I'm going to pick up and move and make a better situation for myself and my family in this area instead.
Yeah. So there's some great testimonials. that you can go have a peep at. And yeah, this is our course that we've run the most because we have the most success with it. It's like very accessible no matter where you consider yourself to be at on the financial scale.
Yeah. Okay, if you have any questions, send us a DM on Instagram and subscribe to the podcast, like and review, give us 5 stars if you love it, because that always helps more people find us. And we can't wait to see you next time.
Yeah, next week.
Next week.
Okay, bye everyone. Thanks for tuning in.